Alright, so what is going down, Pokemoshpitbeta? This is KingQuag here, bringing you guys a 5th gen NU match. Now, before I get on with the battle, I really want to say thank you all so much for the amazing feedback on my last upload on this channel. It was absolutely amazing, so just thank you all for that, and I really do appreciate all that. So, with that being said, let's move right on with the battle. This was a 5th gen NU match that I had against somebody by the name of MonkSheep of the Smogon Wi-Fi Battle Finder. Now, this was an NU match, and yeah, so let's move right on with the battle. So, I'm actually going to lead off my Jinx for this battle because I did see the Butterfree on his team, and Butterfree are usually do the whole sleep powder quiver dance type of thing. And I was just looking at my team, I was just thinking to myself, well, you know what, Jinx is probably the least Pokemon that I need the least to finish out or to KO his team. So might as well lead off with it as sleep fodder and then switch into my Sock, as he said, the quiver dance. But he actually ends up going into his Emboar. So that's kind of helps me because, or that puts me in the better position because I do have the Earthquake, and I'm not going to over predict first turn, just going to go straight for the Earthquake, as he actually ends up going into his Wartortle because I'm actually not too sure why. Like, the Earthquake was kind of risky for me because he does have 3 Pokemon on his team 100% immune to the ground type moves. So it is a Wartortle, and they do tend to carry Scald and Toxic. So my best switch in would be to go into Jinx because with the dry skin, water moves don't affect it, and it can't be toxic because it's asleep. So knowing that Wartortle can't do anything to Jinx, I'm just going to double switch, go back into my Sock, and see what he wants to switch into, and then switch into appropriate counter if needed. He goes into Shelgon here, and I just had this gut feeling inside saying, alright, well, it's probably an offense. Well, it's a Shelgon. It's obviously going to be an offensive set. So I'm going to go into my Armaldo here to pretty much take whatever hit he wants to throw at me. He decides to start setting up the Dragon Dances. So I'm going to take this opportunity to actually knock off his Eviolite, set up my rocks. Like, I'm just going to take this opportunity of him setting up on me. I'm going to take that opportunity to do what I need to do to help ensure this battle to move better in my favor. So I'm going to knock off his Eviolite and then set up my rocks because he does still have his Butterfree on his side of the field, which has the 4 times weakness to rocks. So knock off his Eviolite, so now this Stone Edge will be doing a good amount of damage to that Shelgon. That's actually a pretty good amount of damage because of the fact that it's a Shelgon and defensive, and I don't have any offensive investment into Armaldo. So it's going to go for the outrage, not quite going to KO me, and that Shelgon setting up on me, it really is no big deal because I do still have Sock with Sturdy and Karakusa with Sturdy, so it's no big deal. So I do notice that he is with a 3-turn outrage, and I would really like to have Armaldo later because, one, because I really would like to try to knock off the Eviolite on his Wartortle, and 2, I would like to have it as kind of a switch in onto his Emboar. So he's going to go into Jinx pretty much as death fodder and to burn up his last turn of outrage. And then I'm going to go into my Sock here, pretty much as revenge kill, finish that thing off with a close combat, and that kind of fun stuff. So in comes his Butterfree here, and it takes 50%, and I was kind of on edge. Like, I just decided to go for a close combat just to see if it would kill, and it actually does. So that's an adamant max attack close combat against a Butterfree, which 4 times resists that. So I was actually surprised that killed personally. So Butterfree's dead, and now he goes into his Wartortle here, and this whole part of the battle on his side of the field, I think this could have turned out differently for him if he ordered his switch-ins properly. Like, if he switched into Wartortle first, and then just did this part here, rapid spun the rock, or spun away the rocks, then he would probably still have his Butterfree. So he's going to rapid spin away the rocks, and then he's going to switch out, go into his Chimecho while I'm still locked on to close combat because I am scarfed. And close combat does like absolutely nothing to Chimecho because Chimecho does resist, and Chimecho do tend to be ran as bulky sets. So I'm at the -4 special defense. I don't want to take any special hit from that Chimecho, so I'm going to go with my Licky Licky here to take whatever he wants to throw me. And the Psychic does absolutely nothing to me. So knowing that none of Chimecho's special attacks can really do anything to Licky Licky outside of Hidden Power Fighting, I'm just going to set up a sub. So that's pretty much a free sub for me, as he actually ends up switching out, goes into his Electros. Now Electros, I usually end up seeing them as mixed sets, so I don't know if he's gonna end up going for the Brick Break or not. I'm just gonna go for a Curse and hopefully be able to take this brick break well enough to a point where a sub can, so that I can still keep my sub. It's very unlikely because mixed Electros do carry the Life Orb, and a Life Orb brick break from Electros is devastating. But he actually is just gonna go for the Volt Switch, which is kind of like, I don't know what a, like, that's just making me think that's kind of a difference, or well, I don't know what's going through his head. I mean, all I know is that I personally would have gone for the brick break. So he's gonna Volt Switch into his Emboar, and I'm gonna go for the substitute, predicting him to go for a fighting type move to break my sub, and he does end up breaking my sub, so that gives me an immediate substitute the next turn. And he actually decides to go for the superpower. Chances are he's choice scarfed so that he's locked onto superpower, and the fact that he's locked onto superpower is actually better for me because he's just lowering his attack stat. So at this point, I could just get a curse up right here and then set up another sub and see if his superpower would be able to KO sub, because I believe at 424 HP sub is 10. I have 106 HP subs. So I am at the +2 attack and defense, while his Emboar is at the -2 attack and defense. So chances are he's going to end up switching out, so might as well set up sub anyways. And he actually goes to his Electros, so I'm in a pretty good position right here. I'm a +2 Licky behind a sub, and I believe, I don't know how many Pokemon he has left, to be honest. But he actually goes to the Thunderbolt, kind of suggesting the fact that he isn't a mix set. But he does manage to break my sub with the Thunderbolt, so, I mean, hell, my Licky isn't behind a sub anymore. So, can go for a Body Slam, and that does a bunch of damage to Electros, so I'm just going to fire off another one, try to KO that thing. But he actually ends up switching out, goes into his Emboar, and this Body Slam completely wrecks this Emboar. That is just absolutely amazing on how much damage that, does to his Emboar. So, his Emboar is barely living here, and he's just going to go for another super because that's probably his best move he could go for. And I actually managed to just barely live that with 35 HP. So the fact that he lived that is pretty much saying that he was scarfed the whole time. And I guess it really doesn't matter now because, well, Emboar is dead. So Licky he's just on his last ends right here because Electros is just going to come in and finish off with a Thunderbolt. So Licky, it died, but hell, it did its job. It put a huge dent in Electros and took out his Emboar. So Licky, I'm fine with Licky. So I'm just gonna go into my sock here, and I just believe I just fire off just a safe close combat as he ends up going into his Chimecho, and Chimecho is gonna take that obviously well. So I believe right here I just decide to go into my Armaldo as death fodder because I still would like to have this sock for later because I would still like to have it for his Wartortle and especially Electros if it comes to a point where I'm stuck in a tough position. So just gonna go to Armaldo here, pretty much just death fodder. I do manage to survive a Psychic, but that really doesn't matter because he will be able to outspeed me this next turn and finish me off with a second Psychic. So I pretty much just left Armaldo in there as death fodder so I can get a safe switch into my Caracosta because their Caracosta does still have a sturdy intact. So I'm just gonna bring in Caracosta, set up a Shell Smash, and just clean up the game from here. So he's actually going to end up switching out on my Shell Smash, so that's good for me because that's pretty much ensuring the fact that I'm guaranteed a second Shell Smash. But the second Shell Smash really isn't necessary for me because just one Shell Smash will be enough to clean up the rest of his team. So Ice Beam obviously very easy going to KO his Wartortle even though he does resist it. And in comes his Electros, and I believe I just fire off a Hydro Pump. It's a +2 stab Hydro Pump on Electros. Very easy to finish that thing off. And his last Pokemon is his Chimecho. And I pretty much have 2 chances to kill the Chimecho with Caracosta. I missed the first Hydro Pump, so it will be able to hit me with a Psychic. And surprisingly enough, that Psychic doesn't bring me down to my Sturdy, because even though I'm at -2 special defense, now -3 because of that special defense drop. Even though it really doesn't matter because he's just gonna go for Protect here, try to get some HP back, but really doesn't matter because of the fact that I do still have my Sock, and I don't know what kind of set Chimecho is because I don't know what Chimecho necessarily run in general, but I'm pretty sure that a Retaliate would have killed if he managed to KO my Caracosta right there. But I do manage to land the second Hydro Pump, going to finish off his Chimecho, and that right there will be the game. So with that stuff being said, hope you guys enjoyed this battle. Hope you guys enjoyed the narration. So if you like this narration and battle, feel free to mosey on over to my channel and just for some more battles like this and that kind of fun stuff. So I really don't know what else to say. So yeah, so with that stuff being said, thanks for watching. Don't forget to leave a comment. Definitely don't forget to like, and don't forget to subscribe. So with that stuff being said, peace.